Do-won Shine was born in 1954 in South Korea to a poor family. From a young age, he understood the hardships of life and worked tirelessly to help support his family. Life was tough, and he realized early on that if he wanted to change his fate, he had to work harder than everyone around him. In 1981, at the age of 27, Do-won decided to move to Los Angeles, California with his wife, Jin-suk, in search of the American dream, but their dreams quickly clashed with reality. Arriving in the US with only $200 in their pockets and unable to speak English, they had no choice but to take on menial jobs to survive. The early days in America were extremely difficult for Do-won and his wife. He worked 3 jobs simultaneously, washing dishes, managing a coffee shop, and working as a gas station attendant. Each day started early in the morning and ended late at night, but the money he earned was barely enough to cover their basic needs. Despite the challenges, Do-won was observant and eager to learn. While working at the gas station, he noticed how successful people dressed and behaved. He realized one commonality among them: most of them own their own businesses. From that moment, he began dreaming of starting his own business. One day, while walking around Los Angeles, Do-won noticed that affordable clothing stores were popular and bustling with customers. This sparked an idea. There was a huge opportunity in the fashion industry to provide stylish yet affordable clothing for everyone. With no prior experience in fashion, Do-won believed he could create a brand that met this demand. In 1984, with their entire life savings of $11,000 and his wife's support, Do-won opened his first clothing store in Los Angeles. Initially, the store was named Fashion 21, which would later evolve into the global brand Forever 21. Forever 21 was unlike traditional clothing stores. Do-won and Jin-suk focused on offering trendy, affordable clothes that appealed to young people who wanted to look fashionable without breaking the bank. They carefully studied fashion trends, sourced inexpensive supplies, and continuously improved their products. Instead of spending money on advertising, they poured everything into the quality of their products and the customer experience. Do-won worked directly in the store, talking to customers, listening to their feedback, and quickly adapting to meet their needs. Thanks to their perseverance and smart business strategies, Forever 21 quickly gained popularity. Within a few years, the brand expanded from a single store to dozens across the United States. By the 1990s, Forever 21 had become one of the fastest-growing fashion chains in America. The company didn't stop there, it went global, opening thousands of stores in over 57 countries. The key to their success was Do-won's ability to stay ahead of fashion trends while offering high-value products at low prices. Despite its tremendous success, Forever 21 and Do-won faced significant challenges along the way. Fierce competition from brands like Zara and H&M forced the company to constantly innovate. At one point, Forever 21 had to close many stores and restructure to stay relevant in the fast-changing retail market. However, Do-won never gave up. He often said, "Failure is inevitable in business, but it's not a reason to stop. The important thing is to learn and keep moving forward." From a struggling immigrant with $200 to his name, Do-won Chang built Forever 21 into a global brand worth billions of dollars. Yet for Do-won, success wasn't just about money, it was about creating jobs and opportunities for thousands of people. He attributes his success to 3 key factors: strong faith, relentless hard work, and family support. His story is a testament to the idea that no matter where you come from, if you dream big and persevere, you can achieve greatness. Story from the brink of bankruptcy to a billion-dollar company. Mark Anderson, 33 years old, was once a rising star in the tech world. With an app called SwiftLink, designed to quickly connect freelancers and businesses, Mark had raised $5 million from investors. The app quickly gained tens of thousands of users and was predicted to become the next tech unicorn. But within just 18 months, everything fell apart. A larger competitor with deep pockets launched a similar product, causing users to leave in droves. The team lost morale, investors piled on the pressure, and the cash flow dried up. Mark faced a harsh reality: the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. "I had put everything on the line: money, time, and the trust of so many people. But now, it's all crumbling," Mark confided to a friend. One evening, While sitting alone in an empty office, Mark happened to see an email from a freelancer complaining that even though they used SwiftLink to find work, they still struggled with managing payments and contracts. Suddenly, Mark had a realization. His app wasn't failing because of the idea, but because it didn't solve enough of the user's problems. In a flash of inspiration, Mark came up with a bold idea. Instead of just connecting freelancers and businesses, he would transform SwiftLink into an all-in-one management platform for freelancers, offering automated payments, smart contracts powered by blockchain, and even time tracking systems. If we can't win in the matchmaking space, we'll dominate in support services, Mark declared to the remaining team members. Mark decided to take one last gamble. He sold his Tesla, his apartment, and even borrowed money from his parents to scrape together $100,000 in personal funds. With this small sum, he and his remaining team of 5 worked day and night to redesign the app. But challenges kept coming. Once, just as they were about to launch the beta version, a technical error caused the loss of all user data. It seemed like the final nail in the coffin. However, instead of giving up, Mark used the incident as an opportunity. He sent heartfelt apology emails to every customer, promising to improve the service, and surprisingly, many users responded with support and encouragement. After 8 months of relentless effort, the new version of SwiftLink launched with the slogan, "Unleash your creativity. Let us handle the rest." The revamped platform quickly gained attention. Within 6 months, the user base grew tenfold. Unique features like instant payments and smart contracts made SwiftLink the top choice for millions of freelancers worldwide. By 2024, Mark's company was valued at $1.2 billion after its Series C funding round. Investors who had once walked away were now scrambling to return. Mark became a symbol of resilience and innovation in entrepreneurship. In a TED Talk, Mark shared, "Entrepreneurship isn't always about winning. Sometimes it's about learning how to fail the right way, because it's in failure that you often find the key to success. When you think everything has fallen apart, it's just the moment you need to change your perspective." Mark didn't just save his company, he also inspired millions of young people with this message: only when you dare to be bold can you create something extraordinary. Story from rock bottom to the billion-dollar empire. Jack Morgan, at 26 years old, was a homeless man surviving on the streets of Detroit. His childhood was a series of misfortunes: parents struggling with addiction, little access to education, and being forced out of his home at 16. To survive, Jack worked odd jobs like waiting tables, cleaning bathrooms, and collecting cans off the streets. Jack always carried with him an old, tattered notebook where he wrote down his thoughts and dreams for the future. One line in that notebook read, "One day, I won't just survive, I'll live to create something extraordinary." But at the time, his only dream was simply to escape poverty. One freezing night, Jack stumbled upon a small cafe that stayed open late. He managed to get a temporary cleaning job there for a meager wage. At the cafe, Jack overheard a group of young people discussing blockchain technology, a topic he'd never encountered before. Curious, he asked them what it was, and one of them took the time to explain how this technology could revolutionize industries like finance, logistics, and digital ownership. Jack was captivated. After that night, he spent every penny he had to buy a second-hand laptop. He used free Wi-Fi at the public library to learn everything he could about blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and emerging technologies. Every day, he spent 10 to 12 hours studying free online courses, reading books, and jotting down ideas in his notebook. One day, while watching trucks hauling goods through struggling neighborhoods, Jack noticed a major issue in the logistics industry: lost shipments, a lack of transparency in supply chains, and skyrocketing operating costs. Jack came up with a bold idea: a blockchain-based platform to track goods in real time, ensure transparency, and reduce cost. He named the idea Chainlink Logistics. But there was a big problem. Jack had no money, no connections, and no business experience. Still, he refused to give up. He spent months perfecting a business plan and emailing it to hundreds of investors and well-known entrepreneurs. After countless rejections, a Silicon Valley angel investor named Sarah Reed agreed to meet Jack after reading his story in an email. During their meeting, Sarah was impressed by Jack's passion, deep knowledge of blockchain, and relentless determination. She decided to invest $50,000 in his project. This was the opportunity Jack had been waiting for. With the initial funding, he hired a small team of freelance software engineers, developed the first version of Chainlink Logistics, and partnered with a small trucking company to test it. The results were astonishing. Jack's platform reduced operating cost by 30% and improved accuracy in tracking shipments. Word about Chainlink Logistics spread quickly across the logistics industry. Major corporations like FedEx and DHL took notice of Jack's groundbreaking technology. Within 2 years, his company attracted tens of millions of dollars in venture capital and expanded globally. By 2030, Chainlink Logistics had become a billion-dollar enterprise, dominating the supply chain technology industry. Jack, once a homeless man, was now the CEO of one of the most innovative companies in the world. Jack never forgot where he came from. He established a charitable foundation called Step Forward to help homeless individuals learn tech skills and find job opportunities. He frequently spoke at conferences, inspiring millions of people with his story. In an interview, when asked what helped him overcome all the odds, Jack simply smiled and said, "It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is where you're going and what you're willing to do to get there. I've been at the bottom of society, but it was my dreams and determination that pulled me up." Story from trash picker to global fashion tycoon. Elijah Carter was born in a poor coastal town in Louisiana, where most people survived by scavenging at the city's massive landfill. From a young age, Elijah followed his mother to the dump, collecting scraps to make ends meet. His life revolved around piles of discarded materials, plastic bottles, and worn-out clothes. One of Elijah's most vivid memories was his mother constantly patching up old clothes with bits of fabric. She often said, "Don't let anything go to waste. Even things others throw away can become beautiful if you care for them enough." Growing up in poverty, Elijah developed a unique hobby, repairing and repurposing old clothes. He would take ripped jeans or broken jackets from the landfill, add his own designs, and turn them into unique outfits for himself. At 19, Elijah stumbled upon a rare encounter. While at the landfill, he met a tourist named Maria, who was visiting to photograph the site for an environmental project. Maria noticed Elijah wearing a jacket patched together from scraps and asked him where he got it. Elijah smiled and replied. Maria, a fashion designer searching for fresh inspiration, was captivated by the jacket. She offered to buy it, but Elijah refused to sell. Instead, he invited her to see other items he had created from discarded materials. Recognizing his potential, Maria took photos of his work and promised to help him. A month later, Maria returned with an opportunity. She wanted to showcase Elijah's designs at a small fashion exhibition in New York, featuring innovative young designers. At the exhibition, Elijah's designs took the audience by storm. His collection, called From Trash to Treasure, was made entirely from recycled materials and featured a bold, raw, yet modern aesthetic. Journalists called him a creative genius, and industry insiders hailed him as a pioneer of sustainable fashion. But Elijah didn't stop there. He decided to return to Louisiana, where he grew up, to build a small workshop. He hired impoverished locals, giving them jobs and teaching them how to transform discarded clothes into high-end fashion pieces. Within 5 years, Elijah's fashion brand, Renew, became a symbol of sustainability in the fashion industry. He partnered with major corporations to collect waste from around the world and transform it into exclusive collections. Elijah also opened training schools in underprivileged areas, teaching tens of thousands of people the skills needed to recycle and repurpose clothing. His brand didn't just represent fashion, it carried a powerful message about the environment and human dignity. Waste isn't something to discard, it's an inspiration to change the world. By 2030, Renew was valued at over $50 billion and operated in more than 120 countries. Elijah became one of the wealthiest people in the world, yet he remained humble, dedicating much of his fortune to helping communities in need. In a speech at the United Nations, Elijah said, "I grew up in trash, but I didn't let it define me. Success isn't about what you have. It's about what you're willing to do with what you have." The story from janitor to billion-dollar tech mogul. James Howell, 32 years old, was a janitor working in an office building in San Francisco. His job was to open doors, guide visitors, and clean the hallways. Every day, James quietly watched well-dressed entrepreneurs walk past him to attend important meetings. They never even looked at him twice. James wasn't lazy or without ambition. In his youth, he studied IT at a community college, but his family fell into debt, forcing him to drop out and work to support them. Life wore him down, and he gradually lost confidence in himself, settling for menial jobs to make ends meet. But James had a secret. He loved coding. During his breaks, he would pull out his old laptop and practice programming through free online courses. He dreamed of one day creating something of his own, but the thought that I'm just a janitor constantly held him back. One late evening, James was working the night shift when he noticed a laptop left behind at the front desk. On the screen was a complex block of code. Out of curiosity, James sat down and realized it was blockchain code being developed for a fintech company. Instead of just returning the laptop, James spent the entire night analyzing the code. By morning, he had found a security vulnerability. He emailed the laptop's owner, an engineer named Eric, to explain the issue. Eric, skeptical at first, checked the code and realized James was right. He was stunned. After meeting James, Eric discovered not only his technical talent, but also his sharp vision for how blockchain technology could revolutionize the financial world. Eric said, "Why are you wasting your time as a janitor? You have the skills to do so much more." Eric decided to take a chance on James. He invited him to join a project he was working on, a decentralized finance DeFi platform that would give unbanked populations around the world access to financial services. Eric believed in James, but no one else did. James worked tirelessly. During the day, he continued his janitor job to pay the bills. At night, he poured his energy into writing code and building the platform with Eric. Those days were grueling, but James clung to his dream. "If I don't push myself now, I'll always be the person standing outside the world I want to be part of." Their project, called finihs, finally launched after 2 years of development. With its user-friendly interface and low transaction fees, finihs quickly attracted millions of users in developing countries. James became not only a co-founder, but also the head of the engineering team. But success didn't come without setbacks. One day, the platform was hacked, resulting in massive data loss and millions of dollars in damages. The team faced the threat of bankruptcy. Instead of giving up, James worked nonstop for 72 hours to rebuild the system. After that incident, finihs became one of the most secure platforms in the industry. By 2032, finihs had become the leading company in decentralized finance, valued at over $100 billion. James, once a janitor, was now one of the most influential figures in tech. He not only transformed his own life, but also created financial opportunities for millions of people around the globe. In an interview with Forbes, James was asked how he overcame his humble beginnings to achieve such massive success. He smiled and said, "Success isn't about where you start. It's about what you're willing to do to chase your dreams. I was just a janitor, but I never stopped learning and dreaming." Beyond running finihs, James also founded a nonprofit organization that offers free coding lessons to people in need. He firmly believed that talent could be found anywhere, even in places no one thought to look. The story from water carrier to global clean water tycoon. Kumar Singh was born in a remote village in central India, where residents had to walk miles daily to fetch clean water from a small stream. As the eldest son in a poor family, Kumar started carrying buckets of water from the stream at the age of 10 to provide enough water for his family each day. Kumar quickly realized that life in his village was stuck in a cycle of poverty due to the lack of clean water. When he grew older, he had to leave the village to find work at a factory in the city. The grueling labor and low wages made Kumar constantly think about the people back home, who were still struggling every day just to get enough water to drink. One day during a lunch break, Kumar happened to read an article about low-cost water filtration systems for rural areas. The idea of creating a cheap system to provide clean water for his village struck him. Kumar thought, "If I can do something to turn dirty water into clean water right here in my village, people wouldn't have to suffer like this anymore." He had no money, no technical education, but he had determination. Kumar began teaching himself through YouTube videos, researching how filtration systems worked. He scavenged materials from scrap yards, old plastic pipes, empty containers, and broken machine parts. After 6 months of constant trial and error, Kumar finally built a rudimentary but effective water filtration system. He decided to return to his hometown and test the system. Kumar installed the first water filtration system in his village, using water from the polluted stream. The results were astonishing. The water became clean and drinkable after passing through the system. The villagers, who had initially dismissed him as a foolish dreamer, began to change their minds. Kumar wasn't just providing clean water for his family, but also freeing women and children from the exhausting daily chore of fetching water. But Kumar didn't stop there. He thought about the millions of people across India facing the same struggle as his village. With his meager savings, he rented a small warehouse in the city and began producing water filtration systems at extremely low cost. Kumar named his project CleanFlow. In the early days, Kumar faced countless challenges. Large water corporations saw him as a disruptive competitor and tried to block his progress, while banks refused to give him loans because he had no collateral. Kumar had to borrow money from friends and family and even sell his only bicycle to buy raw materials. Despite the difficulties, Kumar didn't give up. He used social media to promote his products and called for help from the community. A video showcasing his affordable water filtration system went viral, attracting the attention of a renowned philanthropist. This individual decided to fund Kumar with $50,000 to expand production. With the new funding, Kumar improved his technology and created filtration systems capable of meeting the water needs of entire villages at just a fraction of the cost of similar products on the market. In just 5 years, CleanFlow provided clean water to over 10 million people in India and expanded to other countries in Asia and Africa. Kumar became not only a successful entrepreneur, but also a hero to millions.